the shots that I take, about the ankles I break, about the hits that I make, it's just more to the game. It's more to the game. It's just more to the game. It's just more to the game.
What's up, everybody? Another episode of Business Athlete Series brought to you today. Got Lottie with me. And we'll be talking about some important terms like assets, liabilities, income, expenses, cash flow, all the good stuff that you guys may not know about, or if you do, you know, it's just something to talk about. So I'm gonna start off by just asking Lottie, what do you know about the terms assets and liabilities?
I actually took a class in a accounting class back in Hampton. So we touched bases on that. So I was going to talk about liabilities first and foremost because that's stuff that's going to depreciate in value once you put your money into it, such as cars. So as soon as you drive it off the lot, it goes down immediately. So you want to put your money towards things that are assets like land and houses. So those are things that appreciate in value, which is going to make you more money. So a lot of people need to educate themselves on just the basics of that, because that alone will help them a lot in the long run.
Just like the liabilities part you was touching on, like something like car notes. Car notes are like the biggest killers of wealth in our society. I got this from Dave Ramsey, famous guy, whatever, YouTube financial guy, you know. And he said the stat was the average car note is around $507 for 84 months, which is 7 years. And if you take that same $507 and instead of getting all these different car notes 7 years after 7 years or whatever, and you invest it from, let's say for 40 years, like from your 20 to 60 or 30 to 70, you at the end of that period, you get an average rate of return. You know, having decent investments, you'll have $5.6 million. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, $5.6 million. If you invest that $507 every month for the next 40 years, you'll have $5.6 million in your bank account for you to sit on a beach in Cancun or something like that, you know. And you'll be good. You live out the rest of your days.
Dang.
It just tells you how important it is to put your money in places where it's going to actually make money for you. So a car in general is definitely a liability, because as soon as you drive it off the lot, it goes right down in value, and you don't get that back. And if you're using it for like your business, it's an expense, so you can write that off. So if you have an LLC, you can write it off as under your expenses as a tax write-off, and you'll get that back. So you definitely got to understand that car notes and other liabilities, it's not worth it, and it's a killer of wealth.
Yeah.
But to go along with that, we're talking about the assets. Assets, like you said, are things that appreciate in value. Something like your house. Not only can you live in your house, but over time, your house, as long as you keep it up, make the necessary renovations and upkeep, it increases in value. So that house you bought 20 years ago for $250,000 will be worth, who knows? I'm not a real estate expert, but probably somewhere in the millions. With that much time in between. So putting your stuff in something like that, or something like stocks and bonds and the necessary investment tools that are out there for you, all those things will set you up to be better off in the future. So it's good that we're talking about it today, because I feel like that's definitely necessary for anybody that's trying to make the most out of their finances. But to go along with that, we got to talk about cash flow. What do you know really about cash flow? You know anything about cash flow, the term cash flow?
Not as much as I need to. I know that much. I need to do some more research on that so that I actually understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I could be familiar with it.
Yeah. So cash flow is nothing. It's nothing hard to understand. It's really just the flow of money going in and out. So a cash flow of a business is the actual amount of cash they have coming in versus the cash they have. Well, not versus, but the cash they have coming in, cash they have coming out. So if you're making money off sales, that's cash flow. If you're losing money by purchasing things, that's cash flow. It's just that the direction of the money. So money going in and out of different places. For the individual person, your cash flow is the money you spend on food, that's cash out. The money you get in for your job, that's cash in. So we can also categorize those things as income and expenses. But cash flow does not necessarily have to be income and expenses. It can be cash flow going out towards investments. That's separate from an expense, because like we said, that's an appreciating asset. But yeah, cash flow is just the money you have going in and going out. So in the other episode, we're talking about like our budget. You know, that we're talking about cash flow in that episode. That's just cash flow right there in itself. The money you got coming in versus the money you got going out. That's all cash flow is, the movement of the money. So outside of that, that's about it we're gonna cover today. You got any other things you want to talk about to the people?
I wanted to touch on like certain apps that could help people out. You know, like we've been on the Stash app for I think a few years. I think people could learn how to invest on that level because it's pretty easy. You can start with an investment of $1, honestly, literally like $1, just to understand the game and how to attack it. So I feel like people can actually use technology and what we have now to help themselves out, as opposed to maybe a few years or 10 years ago where people had to do it a completely different way. I think with these cell phones and things like that, we have it at our hands. So I think we should take advantage of that.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Definitely Stash app is definitely good. As a beginning investor, I definitely use that as my first investing app. Another resource that you bring it up is Investopedia. It's basically like an encyclopedia with investment terms. They even have like, if you go on their site, I'm not sure they have an app. I haven't checked out if they have an app. But if you go on their site, they have like their term of the day. I know I looked at it today, and the term of the day was safe haven, which is basically a place where you can put your money where it'd be safe even during bad economic times. So definitely Stash app and Investopedia.com, definitely two good resources. Hope everybody tuned in, learned a little bit. And we'll be back very soon with more content for the Business Athlete series. If you're watching this, then I know you care about your financial health. I know you want to build generational wealth for you and your family. So to make that happen, go ahead and leave a comment and ask a question. Leave a suggestion and tell us how we can make this better, or just share some knowledge and your personal experience in the world of finance. Make sure you subscribe to More to the Game and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We got a whole lot more coming.